In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory from Napoleon Bonaparte, the leader of France. Desperate for funds, Napoleon offered to sell the territory to the United States for $15 million. In what has been called the best purchase in the history of the United States, Jefferson agreed to the price. The Louisiana Territory doubled the current size of the United States, and today the territory makes up all or part of 14 states. Unsure of the bounds of the territory and interested in finding the elusive Northwest Passage, Jefferson selected his aide and friend Meriwether Lewis to explore the region. Lewis chose his former Army captain, William Clark, as his co-captain on the voyage. The voyage was named the Corps of Discovery and was given 3 goals by Jefferson. First, and most importantly, to discover the Northwest Passage, an all-water route from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific Ocean. Second, the explorers were to document the geography and animal and plant life they saw. Third, they were to meet the Native American tribes and extend to them the full fellowship of the United States. The Corps left from St. Louis, Missouri in May of 1804. They traveled on water wherever possible and wintered in present-day North Dakota with the Mandan Native Americans. The help of the Mandan Native Americans was invaluable to the Corps of Discovery. During the winter, Lewis and Clark were introduced to Toussaint Charbonneau, a French-Canadian fur trapper, and his wife, a Shoshone woman named Sacagawea. Charbonneau and his wife were invited to be a part of the expedition, as Sacagawea could serve as a useful interpreter for the Corps. A few months after they met, Sacagawea gave birth to a boy named Jean-Baptiste. Clark and the other members of the expedition nicknamed him Little Pomp. From the Mandan Native Americans, the expedition traveled west. The terrain became more rugged, and there became fewer navigable rivers to traverse the area. Upon meeting with the Shoshone Native Americans, Lewis and Clark attempted to negotiate for horses to carry them across the Rocky Mountains. As leader of the Shoshone tribe, Chief Camoet was reluctant to help the Corps until he met Sacagawea. When she was young, Sacagawea had been kidnapped from her people and sold to Charbonneau, who later married her. When Sacagawea was called upon to help interpret for Lewis and Clark, she realized that Chief Camoet was her brother. Because of this discovery, the Corps was able to obtain the horses and supplies they would need to cross the Rocky Mountains and reach the Oregon coast. From the Shoshone tribes in northern Idaho, Lewis and Clark were able to ride the rivers through northern Oregon and reach the Pacific Ocean.
Ocean in view. Oh, the joy.
Lewis and Clark wintered in a fort that they had built named Fort Clatsop. When spring came, the Corps began their long journey home. Although they did not discover the Northwest Passage, the Corps of Discovery successfully completed their other objectives. They created good relationships with the Native American tribes that they encountered. They accurately mapped the region that they traveled, creating approximately 140 maps of the territory. They also documented and discovered over 100 species of animals and approximately 176 plant species. The expedition even sent a caged prairie dog to Thomas Jefferson, as the animals had never been seen in the East before. From the wide and flowing Mississippi to the mossy trails in Oregon, Meriwether Lewis and William Clark had traversed the country, ending their journey after 2 years, 4 months, and 10 days.